a Pharisee and a tax collector. These are two different individuals, and let's try to talk about them a little bit. The Pharisee is not the name of the person, by the way. It's just a group that this person belonged to. The Pharisees in the day of Jesus tried to follow everything that was written in the scriptures. And they were trying to be a good example for the people around them. And the other guy was a tax collector. Again, we don't know the name of this guy, but we only know what he did for a living. And what he did was collecting tax. Collecting tax was a job, a profession that had a very bad reputation. And do you know why? Because tax collectors were taking money from their own people and giving that money to the Romans, which were considered the enemy. Part of what they did also, as they were collecting the funds, they would keep some of the funds for themselves. For that reason, nobody liked the tax collectors. So these two people went to the temple to say a prayer privately. But they were saying their prayers in two different manners. The Pharisee was standing up and was being very proud of himself, saying, "Oh Lord, I thank you. I thank you that I'm a good person. I'm not a sinner. I fast, I give good gifts for the people in the community, and I'm not like this sinner. I'm not a tax collector." And the other guy, the tax collector, was kneeling down, was ashamed to lift his face, and he was beating his chest saying, "God, forgive me. I am a sinner." Now remember, this is a story that Jesus told to the people around him. And Jesus said at the end of the story, the tax collector, the bad guy, went home and he was justified. His prayers were accepted. And the prayers of the Pharisee almost were not accepted. The story today is trying to teach us that prayer is an important part of our lives. Most of you say a prayer during the day, I'm sure, right? Do you say a prayer before you go to bed? Do you say a prayer when you wake up in the morning? You should, because you should thank God that you were able to get up and continue your life. Prayer is something very important. And sometimes we come to church to say a prayer because seeing people around us saying a prayer, that gives a different energy, and that falls into the line of Jesus, saying that whenever 2 or 3 people come and say a prayer, that prayer will be heard even better. However, there's a way of a prayer which, according to the Bible, is accepted, and there is one which is not accepted. The one that the Pharisee was using obviously was not accepted because he almost didn't need God. He was saying, "I'm a good person." And he was there just to show off. While the other guy, the tax collector, was kneeling and asking God to forgive his sins. The problem with the Pharisee is that he was concentrating only on the good things in his life. He was counting his strengths. He was not trying to point to his weaknesses. We all do that, right? We have some things that we are confident about in our lives, and there are some areas which we are not too good. The wise person should try to improve the things that he's not good at. This guy was not trying to do that. As if he was in a competition with the other guy who said, "I'm out. I'm a sinner. God, forgive me." This also teaches something else about prayer. No matter where you go, if you're in the church or in your bedroom, God knows you inside out. God knows everything about you. You can cheat your friends. You can try to tell lies to your parents. But God doesn't buy those things because God knows you inside out. No matter what kind of image we try to portray of ourselves, God knows who we are. We can only fool the people around us, and we can fool ourselves. Therefore, whenever you read this story again, I would want all of you to remember that we all need to pray. And when we say a prayer, we all need to ask God to forgive us and help us to become better people. May God bless you all, and let us rise now and read the confession of our faith, the Nicene.